Okay, this is a video on data tables. If I screw up, I shouldn't, but maybe I will. I might swear or something like that. And these are painful to make. Now, let's take this. The first thing let's do is let's go and let's add some of our generic macros into this. We can make some kind of temporary macro, and then we can go to our file and import file, and we can go to our bibliothèque and get the generic macros. Remember, what they will do is they will have a bunch of built-in kind of files, and now if you look at your tools and macros, let's look at our open file, edit that, and we have a whole bunch of files. I'm just going to run that to get the macros started. Okay, now here's what we have. So now I can press Shift Control C and get my inputs colored. We have a very simple model. We're just going to have entry multiple, an exit multiple, a growth rate. We're going to have a holding period of 5 years that we want to vary an exit period of 5 years. And then we're going to see what happens to our IRR. And let's also look at what happens to our premium over the risk-free rate. And we need just two outputs because this is going to be about making a data table with one input first, and two inputs and one output, and then one output and two inputs. All right, let's begin and put our period, and let's just start with period 0. I'm trying to do this as quickly as I possibly can. Alt EIS, enter, and let's put a holding period. And the holding period will just take this thing is less than or equal to that. I didn't even press that. Shift Control R, that's why we added this. And then let's put our terminal period and just make that this thing equal to the holding period. Okay, Shift Control R. Now we can make our cash flow. Let's put our EBITDA in, and let's just start with our 100, and then we'll increase this by 1 plus the growth rate. And when we do that, let's multiply that by the holding period. So we Shift Control R, Shift Control 1, and then we can have our terminal proceeds. Okay, and the terminal we probably should have paid a lot more for this EBITDA because we're going to just multiply this by the exit multiple and also multiply it by the terminal switch. Okay, so our purchase price, we have entry multiple of 7 times the 8,000. Our net cash flow is we'll put a minus sign in the first year, and then put add the EBITDA and Shift Control R, and we can get IRR, and just click on the entire line. And we can get our NPV at the risk-free rate. Okay, why don't we take it in all the future values, and then take that and subtract how much we have to pay for our investment. So that's kind of a second statistic. We could compute some payback period or something else. Okay, that's enough, I think. You can do this, Shift Control T, Shift Control F, and this, Shift Control P. Okay, enough of that. Let's make a two-way table. Now there are a couple of things to note. First, if you go to your Formulas tab and go to your calculation options, there's automatic except for data tables. Automatic except for data tables is probably by far the best to press. That means you might have to press the F9 button when you want to recompute the data tables. Alternatively, let's use automatic right now, but that slows down Excel in a horrible way. Now, the most important thing about data tables, or one of the most important things, is let's say we're going to vary the holding period. So we're going to vary the holding period. Let's go from 2 years to 3 years. Alt EIS, enter. Oh, what did I just do? Oh no. EIS, enter. Okay, and then let's also, maybe a couple. EIS, enter. Okay, and this is our holding period. Now, I was just in the process of saying something that's very important, and that's the setup of the data tables. And then let's change our exit multiple from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. And here's what's so important. This line in a two-way table, not in a one-way table, in a two-way table, this middle line, this middle thing has to be blank. Not blank, but there has to be a space in between the one input variable and another input variable. And then you're going to put an output to this variable. Now this output variable is going to be what's in the data table. So the data table will essentially, let's just understand what it will do. It will go up to the holding period and change this to 2. It will change the exit multiple to 5, and it will copy and paste this into here. The reason that's so important to remember is in the next exercise we're going to make a macro that just does the same thing, and it's only about a 2 or 3 line macro. It's such an easy kind of macro to make, and it does exactly this. So then we change the exit multiple to 6, and then it's going to take this number and essentially copy and paste it to 6. So to make the data table, here's what you do. You select the whole area. You simply go to Data, and then you go to What If Analysis, and you go to Data Table, and then you have the big confusion, the very big confusion. And I don't know how many people I've seen, including me, unfortunately, when it says row input table, start selecting this. But these numbers have nothing to do with the model. You've got to connect these numbers to what actually runs the model. Okay, and this can only be one single number. That's the other thing. So it's because here's what it did. What did it say? It says row input cell, not row input cells. So this cell is connected with the holding period, and the column input cell here, that's connected with the exit EV to EBITDA multiple. And then we can select this whole thing, and we can press Shift Control P, and let's say our hurdle rate for some reason is 20%. Okay, I'll put a hurdle. So whenever this is below 20%, you can just go to Home, and I'm not even going to do a fancy conditional formula. We'll just highlight cell rules, and whenever it's less than the hurdle rate, which I didn't put in yet, right now it will not be ever, but let's put the 20%. Then it'll show you what combination of exit multiple and holding period give you a return. Now that's a two-way table. The thing I didn't tell you about also is that these data tables, if I put this on another sheet, it will not work. What a horrible tool, really. You think this is cool at first, and then you've got to always have it on the same sheet as the inputs? Oh, horrible. So let's make a one-way table. Now, what we're going to do in subsequent, and let's say that all I'm going to do is this time vary the exit multiple like we did here. But this time, I would like to look at the IRR, and I would look, and I'll put IRR above here, and I would like to look at our risk premium. So just to make life horrible, in the old one we had a something in between these cells. It's kind of logical, really, if you think about it, but now we can't have anything in between these cells. By the way, making a graph of this is real painful when you have this in. That's another reason to make a macros. These damn data tables. So here's what you do. You select the area for a two-way data table, and you go to data, and you go to what if analysis, and you go to data table. And this time, just to make things so horribly confusing, it says the row input cell, but these are not inputs, these are outputs. What do you put in for the row input cell? You could try to put this or this. You leave it blank, because those are outputs. It's a one-way table. And for the column, you do the same thing. The column was the exit multiple. And we'll put that in, and then we get our IRR with different exit multiples, shift control P, and then we get our this one. Now, to make this a little effective, there's two up here. Well, let's say we don't like this, and we could just switch to our developer tab really quickly, put a little spinner button, and make our we can make it go from let's make it go from 2 to 12. Okay, so let's put a minimum of 2, a maximum of 12, and let's switch this. And oh, I don't know how to switch it to another sheet. Oh shit! Just a second. I'm gonna have to just put it in. Okay, let's make a new sheet. This is this wonderful method. I was taught by Gazprom Bank that let's just make a win screen wiper method. Click on this. Click OK. Now we increase this, and so we can go over here, copy this, put it just on top of the data table, and put our holding period. I'm just going to leave it like this, and then we can click on this. So we can see, well, what happens, it should be much more sensitive to this is very sensitive to the exit multiple, and then when we go out to 12, it's much less sensitive to the exit multiple. And the risk premium dramatically increases as we have a longer holding period. So the IRR doesn't really account for this, the fact that you're making a lot of money over a longer period of time. Now, one more thing. Again, if we go to this formulas and we put what we should do, which is automatic except for data tables, then we should right click on this and we can make a okay, oh no, I'm sorry about the background noise. The macro, I had to stop the video because I was interrupted. The macro you can make is so easy. All you do is you record a macro called calc or something, and then you click on this, and when you just click on calculate sheet, not calculate the whole thing, and then you stop recording and right click, assign the macro to this this one, okay, and now when you change this, the whole data table changes. Before, it wouldn't have changed. Okay, so that's a basic data table macro.